Hey there, Zesty Boys, and welcome back to the Zesty Podcast. A little long overdue as we haven't posted in 2 weeks because I have no friends. My name, of course, is Tony Shire, and I'll be hosting today. Mitchell is dead for all I know. I haven't heard from him, so standing in his place is my number 2 best friend, Joshua Lucas. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Tony.
All right. Well, that concludes the podcast. I hope everyone enjoyed their time here.
Nice.
Yeah. So, Josh, I know you recently, for our viewers out there who don't know this, you recently got back from California, was it? Doing my little voice correct? California, was it? Doing an internship with Google, right?
Yeah, man. It was wild.
What part of California were you in?
It was the Bay.
Ooh, San Fran.
Yeah, so I worked in San Francisco.
Did you ever go into the ghetto, aka Oakland?
I didn't go to Oakland, but there's like some ghetto areas of SF.
No, SF. Okay, and that's like housing that costs $3,000 a month is the ghetto in San Francisco.
Yeah, so there's this place called Tenderloin, which is I know.
Are you fucking with me?
I'm serious. There's a place called Tenderloin, and it's probably like one of the worst parts of SF that I experienced. Yeah, oh man. But like walking through there is really scary. I do not suggest it.
Really? Did you ever have to do it alone?
No, but so there's this thing if you walk in San Francisco and you're with other interns or anyone in the tech industry, they hate people in tech. Like they'll throw eggs at like the Google buses and all this stuff.
Really?
Yeah, that's
in
why.
San Francisco? Why? Just
Yeah.
because it's like modernizing San Francisco or something?
Yeah, because like the gentrification and like
Digification, is that what it's called?
gentrification.
Gentrification. Yeah. Wait, so San Francisco's not already gentrified? I feel like gentrification has to be like a poor area first and then to be gentrified.
Yeah, I mean there's parts.
No.
There's parts that are definitely already gentrified, but
I guess the only parts of San Francisco I've been to is where my like grandpa lives, where it's just super expensive everything, even for like a small like 2-bedroom house. It's like worth like $1 million.
it's all like super expensive.
Mhm.
Even if it's not gentrified, it's all super expensive.
Yeah.
Like even Tenderloin is like relatively expensive.
Tenderloin.
Yeah. So
Is there any other like meat named cities next to Tenderloin or areas next to Tenderloin? Is there
There's-
like a whole meat theme?
there's San Mateo. I don't know if you San Mateo. It's like
Okay.
south of San Francisco.
Yeah.
I don't know. No, they're like meat names.
That's weak.
Yeah.
California needs to step their game up. So
Yeah.
what's like, I feel like being a Google intern is kind of like, ever since that Owen Wilson, Vince Vaughn movie came out, it seems like it's kind of a prestigious gig to get, and I'm sure it actually is. So demystify it for us, Josh. What's day-to-day like for a Google intern?
All right. Well, it varies like from position to position and location and all that
Mhm.
stuff, but I'll try and give you just like run of the mill day to day.
Okay.
So I worked on the Gmail team, which is very.
Did you get to read my emails?
Oh yeah, I read everyone's email.
Zestyboys@gmail.com. Send us questions for the podcast. Josh has already seen them.
Yes. But yeah, so I worked on Gmail, and I worked in Sunnyvale, which is like South Bay, so it's about an hour away from San Francisco.
Okay.
Basically, I'd wake up at like 8 a.m. in my 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment, and I'd walk to the Google bus stop, which is like 15 minutes away, and then I'd get to work 20 minutes later on the bus, and then I'd eat breakfast at like one of the cafes.
Is the Google bus stop just like a Google specific bus? It takes you just to Google and then back to like other Google bus stops?
Yeah, so there's probably around like 50 Google buses, and they're all like double-decker buses.
Really?
With like leather seats and like Wi-Fi and all this. It's
Wow.
totally decked
That's
out.
really cool.
Yeah, and Facebook has like the same thing. So it's like
Yeah.
the Facebook bus, but they're not marked as Facebook and Google buses. Like,
Because you'll get eggs thrown at you.
well, yeah, exactly. And there's interns who have gone on like the Facebook bus accidentally, and to get on the Facebook bus, you have to swipe your key card, and the key card works on every bus because the buses don't check for like company specific key cards. It's
So
just,
there's all the it's like the same bus, but just different companies' buses.
yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And
And he ended up Mark Zuckerberg's house.
yeah, like multiple people will get on like the Facebook bus as Google interns, and they'll get there like, oh wait, this is not Google.
This is not Google.
Yeah, and so they'll have to take like a 15-minute Uber like to Mountain View or something.
Mhm.
But yeah, so I'd get to work at like I'd bike to work sometimes too.
Really? How far from your apartment was Sunnyvale?
So I was pretty close. I lived in Sunnyvale, so it was about
Okay.
a 15-minute bike ride which isn't bad.
Yeah,
at
that's
all.
not bad at all. That's like a little less than what it was for me to get to classes.
Yeah, so it was really nice. But
A little more, sorry.
sometimes I would get tired because you have to go over like the interstates.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And San Francisco is entirely hills.
well, this isn't South Bay, so it's not even San Francisco.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's the interstates in San Francisco are. I don't even know if there are interstates in San Francisco.
There are, and I don't know if there's interstates. I've been on highways in San Francisco. We got off a plane once, and our Uber driver, this like big dude, just flying down these like 8-lane highways, not even like looking in his mirrors or anything, just like merging like 4 lanes. Just this Uber guy who's just like the most aggressive driver I've ever been with.
Yeah,
And like every driver in San Francisco is the exact same way. It's crazy.
it's my parents came out there for a weekend, and my
Mhm.
dad was just like flooring it up and down these huge hills, not like looking left and right. I'm like, the first week I got there was like this truck that was on fire when I got. It was literally in flames. I was in San Francisco, so that was like my warm welcome.
All right, welcome to the show, baby.
Yeah.
All right, so you get to the Google office and you eat at one of are the cafes and stuff pretty good? Is it like chain restaurants or
No,
is it
it's Google specific restaurants where they'll have like chefs, and each day they'll have something different.
Mhm.
It's really good food, and it's all free. You don't have to pay for
Oh,
it.
really? I was about to say, is it relatively cheap or is it?
Yeah,
is
it's
it
free. The only like tech places, big tech companies where you have to pay for food, I think is like Apple and
Well, that makes sense.
some.
I bet they only have apples too. You have to eat an all fruit diet like Steve Jobs and die of stomach ulcers.
Definitely. But yeah, no, the food was really good. I would eat at this place like called Beefsteak every day because it was super healthy, but it was really good food.
Really?
Yeah, it was like.
I mean, you can't get much better than that. Free, healthy,
I
and
know.
delicious. Like you're probably in the best shape you've been in. At least your innards.
100%. 100%. But yeah, so I'd get there. I'd eat at one of the cafes for breakfast. There's like 5 different cafes to pick from. So I'd eat, and I'd go to my building. I'd get there at like 9:30, and then I'd answer some emails and just kind of like say good morning to these people.
Did you have to call them Gmails or could you just say email?
Yeah, email.
Okay.
Because
Did you have to make like a specific new Gmail for the Google internship, or if you already had a Gmail, could you use that, or would they let you get in with a Yahoo?
yeah, they give you a work email, so
Okay.
it's a Gmail. You're not allowed to use like your personal one for work and
Mhm.
stuff. So they give me a personal Gmail, and then yeah, so I would answer emails. We'd have like a stand up every day. My team was like, I don't know, like 25, 30 people. So it was a really big team, which I wasn't used to at all. And then we go to lunch at like 12 o'clock, sometimes as a team, sometimes not. Sometimes I'd go with other interns. And then like around 2 o'clock is when like work would really start. I'd have meetings throughout like the day usually, and then do just a bunch of work. And then I take the bus home at like 5 or 6. And then I'd get home and like make some dinner. And you could get dinner at the Google campus too. I would do that sometimes, but you have to wait till like 6 o'clock, 6:30, and the lines are really long.
Yeah.
So I would just go home and then maybe play like some League of Legends or something for like.
Still playing some League?
Yeah, I play like the Teamfight Tactics mode.
I don't even know what that is.
It's like you ever play auto chess in Dota?
Yeah.
It's literally like auto chess. in League.
Okay.
It's like a Hearthstone. I don't know. It's just really chill.
Mm-hmm. Not like a 55-minute commitment every time, or is it still like?
It's definitely still like a 30-minute commitment.
Okay.
But it's really relaxing. You're not like intensively like looking. at
That's what
stuff.
really got me out of Dota, especially when like when I didn't have like my team that I would play with, just playing with like random people. It's like, oh, this is about to be at most an hour and 15-minute commitment. I do not know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like that's what kept me from getting into Hearthstone, and like just playing regular chess is just like, ugh, this is gonna take so long.
Yeah.
But once I start playing, I actually like really enjoy it. But it's just the thought of like getting into like that groove is just terrible.
Yeah.
And when you play MOBAs, like the first 10 minutes are awful anyways, because if you fuck up a little bit, then you're just screwed for the rest of the game.
You're just trapped in the game for like
Yeah.
another
Like,
hour.
well,
like,
I am underleveled and I've fed the entire team. That's about how it went for me.
Yeah. That's the reason a lot of my friends have stopped playing, and now I'm like left alone because they hate like the time commitment, which I
Mhm.
get.
Yeah. So you are not you're not. I don't know how to put this. You're not new to pretty cool internships. Last summer you interned with Blizzard, didn't you?
2 summers ago.
2 summers ago.
Yeah.
What'd you do there? Like how did that compare to the Google internship?
It was definitely a lot different. Blizzard was a lot smaller of a company,
Mm-hmm.
and my team was pretty small, so I was a lot closer to them. and the culture was really cool because everyone played games. Like you know me, I'm pretty into games. It's not like what I do nowadays most of the time, but I used to be really into them. It's kind of like shapes my life, and so I could just walk up to someone and be like, "Oh man, you play the new patch of like I don't know Diablo or something?"
Yeah,
and they'd be like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool," but like at Google, they're just really normal people. Like
like all just going about their day, kind of.
It's not even like that they're normal. It's just like, oh yeah, I went hiking last week.
It's just way more diverse, I guess.
Yeah, it is super diverse. Yeah, and
not just with skin color, but like in people's hobbies and like everything.
Yeah. It's hard to, for me at least, it was hard to connect with people on that kind of level.
Yeah,
I would just it felt like it was just small talk like the entire time. Like, oh, how's your weekend?
I know exactly what you're talking about. It's just you don't feel, unless you're gonna like find this one person and it's like this guy's gonna be my best friend. Just workplace conversations with people who don't have similar interests to you is just kind of like, no, I haven't heard of that.
Yeah.
All right, see ya. And then you do the same thing tomorrow.
Yeah, and there's this internal thing called like Google Groups or something where it's for Googlers that work there. And
is that like what is a Google? Is that interns or is that like people who actually work at Google?
So Googlers are. It's just the overall term, but it also gets more specific. Like Nooglers are like new hires and interns and stuff.
And you like, did you have to wear like the pinwheel hats? Because I saw a picture where you had like a Google colored pinwheel like hat. Did you have to wear those, or was it like
the first day you were like kind of motion to like do it?
Not that it's like not fun. Like I would definitely be super into that if I had an internship. Be like, look at me, I'm a new guy.
You could tell though by like the third day at least, like it was wearing off. Like I didn't really like wearing it anymore.
Yeah,
and, like
it was fun for a few pictures and
yeah, but I had it attached to my backpack because you get away with a lot of stuff if you're an intern. Like if you have it in your backpack, someone will see you. It's like, oh hey, like I love to chat sometime. If you're an intern, I could teach you like a bunch of stuff. And
that's really
like,
cool.
Oh, dope.
It's like just basically a foot in the door with a bunch of conversations.
So I would keep it on my backpack, but I wouldn't wear it. So that was pretty helpful. But yeah. So back to.
I like getting you off track. This is all just like a cranial nerve exam for you. I'm just seeing how well your memory. It's basically that like light test where it's like blue, red, yellow, and you have to get blue, red, yellow.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to get you lost.
Well,
I just did it again.
Yeah, I went down that rabbit hole and I forgot where I was.
We were talking about Blizzard and how it was a tight knit group.
Oh yeah, okay. And that's another thing. I was working at Blizzard, which was in Southern California, which is like.
So you're just a Cali boy.
Yeah, it was near LA. Well, the first time I went out there, it was really weird. It was the first time I had lived away from my parents, not at home. And so it was all just a bunch of stuff hitting me at once.
Yeah.
It was culture shock and all this stuff. And so after being there and then going to NorCal, it's a completely different environment.
Yeah, I was about to say, for those who haven't been to California, SoCal and NorCal are like practically two different countries. Like, very, very different.
It definitely is. And I still like both. Like, I can see pros to each. When I was in NorCal, I was like, damn, I really miss SoCal. But now that I am out of NorCal, I'm like, damn, I miss NorCal. So it's really beautiful, though. NorCal.
Oh, yeah, for sure. All the eucalyptus trees and everything.
It's so beautiful.
Did you ever make it to Half Moon Bay?
Yeah.
I love Half Moon Bay.
My team had an offsite. Basically, offsite is just like you take a day of work and you guys do like a team building exercise, but really it's just like a fun activity. Like we went to a winery and did glass blowing at this.
Really?
Yeah, and in Half Moon Bay. It was really cool. We took a bus up there and everything. And oh man,
I feel like that'd be fun, just kind of like a field trip in school, essentially. Like,
yeah, it
just
was.
going to do cool shit.
The only downside was that like everyone on my team is like married for the most part, so they're all talking about like, oh yeah, me and my wife went on this honeymoon to like I don't know, Seattle or Vancouver, and I'm just sitting over here like, yeah, totally. Like,
how old were the other interns?
Well, they weren't interns. It was my team.
Oh, okay.
I was the only intern on my team.
Is that how it worked for most of the interns? Like they were the team's intern for a different area?
So it really did vary.
Okay.
A lot of like freshmen, sophomores are called EPs, so it stands for engineering practicums, and they're given a podmate, and a podmate is another EP who works on a project with them. So they always had someone they were like working with that was another intern. But for regular interns, most of the time you were limited to just yourself and then maybe like one or two more, but you didn't really talk to those one or two people. They were just kind of like working on a different project, but somehow on the same team.
This is essentially just a Google intern intake right now. I'm learning all the terminology, Podmates, the other things you've said. Noogler, that's a good one.
And there's Dooglers, which are dogs, and they're
that would not be what I guessed.
It's cool though. Like the dogs have their own tag and everything, and it's really cute.
So is The Office like as cool as it kind of seems from all the stuff you see on like Reddit and in the movies, like sleep chambers and slides and everything like that?
Yeah, I'd argue it's actually like cooler because
Really?
there's so many different campuses. There's the San Francisco. I'm just gonna talk about the ones in the Bay. There's the San Francisco office. There's actually 2 San Francisco offices, and those are really beautiful view-wise. Like in the city, the interior is like a little bit older. Some parts, other parts are pretty new. And then there's San Mateo, San Bruno, which is YouTube. And that place is really cool. There's a huge slide and everything, and
Jake Paul's just there all the time.
He's the greeter
there. Yeah,
he's the doorman. And then there's the Mountain View. There's like not 40. I don't know. There's like more than 15 Mountain View offices. So there's a ton. And then they're building 2 new offices, and they're like these huge architectural canopies.
Really?
That everyone can go into. Like,
that's really cool.
To shop and stuff, supposedly.
Did you ever see any like the server like locations and stuff like that?
So on my campus, there's a tiny server room, but it's like a old server room, I think. But there's these glass windows, and it shows how the server rooms actually look like.
Okay.
But yeah, I never went to a real server.
Yeah, because I've seen like pictures of like server campuses for like Google and stuff, and they're just these like whole giant warehouses just like full of servers. It's like you never even think about that there has to be stuff to just store all of that information, all the however many trillion hours are on YouTube or something like that.
I went to there was one at Blizzard. It was a smaller one, but I went in there, and you walk in, and it's just like this cryo like freezer type thing. You walk in there.
Is it super cold?
It's so cold, and like
I guess because all the servers are hot.
Yeah, and the fans are really loud and everything. It was a pretty small one, but it was pretty cool to see. But no, I didn't go to any Google ones. But okay, so then there was the Mountain View, and then there was my office, which was Sunnyvale, and it's the newest one. Well, there's 3 Sunnyvale offices. There's Tech Corners. I know
so much.
Get ready to your mind's just like.
I remember the last thing you said, so don't ask me a question relating to Google if it's not directly the last thing the thing you've just finished saying.
That's fair.
Or Doogler. I won't forget that.
All right, Doogler. Yeah. So then my office, which is like a mini city. Essentially, there's like 5 skyscraper-esque like buildings and like a pool, a basketball court. All
That's
this
awesome.
Stuff. Yeah, it was cool.
Can people live on that campus? Like, is there like apartments and stuff, or?
So not on campus, but literally like right across the interstate. There's housing. Super expensive, but
yeah.
there is housing.
Is it Google housing or is it just housing?
It's just housing.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no Google official. Like even for interns, we didn't get.
Yeah, I was
housing.
Surprised that you said you were just like in an apartment. I thought there would have been like some kind of dorm or something.
There used to be, but there was an alleged
murder.
There was an alleged like party, like a Project X party kind of thing, and like Google didn't want their name branded all over that, so they did away with like the dorms. But like Facebook has the dorms, Blizzard had dorms, all that stuff.
How do you feel about DuckDuckGo?
I actually used that back in high school for a little bit.
Really?
Yeah, my classmates would look over and be like, dude, what the hell is that? Like, what is this? And I was trying to explain it to him, but I just use Google now.
What was your reasoning for using DuckDuckGo back in the day?
I don't know. I thought it was cool. And you could also get past a lot of like proxy stuff on the web, on the school Wi-Fi or school internet. Like you couldn't go to, I don't know. I can't remember. Maybe like YouTube or some stuff you couldn't go to. But if you did DuckDuckGo, sometimes you could get through.
I remember, I cannot for the life of me actually remember who gave me this, but actually it was some guy in my class whose name I don't remember. It was a thumb drive that had a VPN on it and like just Mozilla Firefox, and so I would just use Firefox. Like I had it for like 2 or 3 years, and I would use Firefox and like a VPN like on school computers, and you could just go to wherever I wanted to go.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool.
And do you use Firefox now? Or?
No, I use Google now. I'm tried and true. Yeah. My YouTuber, I have to use Google, otherwise they'll delete my account.
That's accurate.
Exactly.
We checked for that.
It was actually I was really sad when I lost the thumb drive, or flash drive, whatever you say, because it was just looked like a surfboard, and you just took the tip off of the surfboard and could plug it in. I really liked it, but now it's gone.
Now some other kid has it
forever. Exactly. So I mean, I know where I left it. I left it in Miss Kemp's marketing room in North Forsyth High School. So if you're out there listening to this, person who took my thumb drive, you can go fuck yourself. All right.
Yeah. You heard it from us.
Got that off my chest.
Damn.
That cured me. I didn't know what's been this deep, like, seated feeling over my heart all these years. It was that.
It's the damn thumb drive.
Well,
That kid that took it.
Exactly.
God, have you been back to North? Like,
No, I have not. Like, well, actually, I didn't go inside, but I think I went to pick up Tommy or something like his senior year. I dropped something off for Tommy, and like literally our senior year was the last year that it was super. Well, no, the year right after us
yeah,
was probably the
there's one
shittiest
more.
year because that was where all the construction and stuff was. But the year after that is like a fancy ass new school.
I
Like
know.
it probably would be amazing going there now. We went to a school that was built in like the 40s.
I know, dude. It's ridiculous.
I was thinking about this earlier. We had I can't remember her name. We had a very old woman as a math teacher.
Yeah.
I think that was junior year, I think. 7th
Yeah,
period.
junior. Yeah.
And I remember we would just like try to like get her off topic for like as long as we could so we wouldn't have to like learn anything. This was an on-level math class with a bunch of people who didn't understand basic addition. And there was once where you said like LMAO or something to her. I don't know if you remember this, but this LMAO, and then you for like 15 minutes you were explaining to her what LMAO meant, and she could not grasp it. And it was like the most fun I've ever had in a math class.
It's actually a really fun math class.
Yeah, and we just dicked around so much.
God, man.
There was two. I think about this a lot actually. There was 2 girls in that class. I don't remember who they were, and there's no point in name dropping them, even if I did. But they got a cheat sheet for a test once, and it was completely wrong. And they both used the cheat sheet like verbatim, like bubble for bubble, and they both got 12%.
Oh my
and
God.
that teacher was like, I think you guys like messed up. Here, take this again, and then let them take it
What?
again. Like, that class was a lawless wasteland, but it was great.
It's like an hour of my day gone for like what
300 or probably like
200,
200
like,
days,
yeah,
something like that.
of my life
260?
just gone.
I don't know.
an hour.
I think it's close to like 150. I think it's like kind of half your year is school and half isn't, is what it like. ends up
150
being.
hours gone because of that class.
It is depressing. I could not handle a full day of school right now. I don't understand how people go to college to become teachers. Imagine going to college, like having that freedom, and then just going right back to like middle school. Like that shit would blow.
I don't know, man.
I just don't like kids enough to do it either.
I don't know. I always thought teaching was like kind of cool if you were teaching a cool subject.
Yeah, like I could teach like broadcasting. I could teach
Yeah.
I couldn't teach a real class or like an elementary class where you have to teach for the entire time.
I wouldn't want to teach anything below high school.
Like my broadcasting teacher, he just kind of would do whatever it wanted. And
Have you seen what they do now? I am like, okay, so
it's more of a cinema class now.
well, I'm subscribed to like the news channel for some reason still.
Is it on YouTube?
Yeah,
Oh.
on North, and like they had this introduction where they introduced the cast members of each broadcast,
Mhm.
and they did like a Super Smash Bros. Like style
Really?
thing. It was actually really cool. But I was like, damn, that's like our school now.
It's funny because like a lot of like mostly C-Wright who does it. Like it's like the kids doing it, but he's like, all right, click this button, click this button, click this, do this. And then-
Really?
yeah, and so he's just been like dicking around with like the fancy like multi-$1,000 green screen and shit that they have like,
That's awesome.
and just getting really good at it. But I actually ran into him like probably like a year or two ago. I was going to a Wendy's and I saw him like walking out with just like a fuckload of sauces for some reason. And I like stopped the car like in the middle of the street and I was like, Mr. whatever your name is, because I don't really want to name drop him right now. I don't know if I should.
You already did.
C-Wright, Mr. C-Wright. Yeah. And then he was like, and then went and talked to him for a while. He's like, yeah, it's more of like a kind of a cinema class now versus broadcast journalism, all that stuff. I was like, wow, that would have been nice like 4 years ago when I went there. But it was very loose when I was there, especially my fourth year, because you're only supposed to do 3 because it's a pathway class. And
Oh,
then
yeah,
I just wavered back into it. And the first few days he was like trying to make me do like pathway stuff. I'm like, C-Red, I'm not doing this. Why? And he's like, you got to do it. And then like we went back and everyone was like doing like the pathway modules and I was just like dicking around like on the computer. Like I think I was like drawing something on Paint. I was drawing a basketball player like caricature style. And he's like, what? You need to start doing this. I was like, no. And he's like, I'm going to write you up then. And I was like, C-Wright, I literally just took this test like a month ago and got like a 93. He's like, oh yeah, you did. Well, why are you here? And I was like, I wavered into it. He's like, all right, well, carry on. And then I just kind of did whatever he told me to do. He was like, I need to make a commercial for basketball, do that. And I would do it, and
That sounds fun.
et cetera. Yeah, I mean, it was just really like, I was just no guidance, really. It was just like, just make stuff.
Yeah, just do your thing.
And this is kind of an interesting point. I say I was thinking about this a lot, but I do think about things a lot. This is one of them. I recently heard it's in a parenting book, at least is what the people told me. There was this experiment where they had a bunch of mice, say 5 mice, in a big like box, like maybe the size of this table, and if you put the mice in this, like just in the table, they would all kind of hang out in the middle. But if you put the mice on the table with a big box around it, almost to the edges, they would go all the way to the edge of the box because they like being constrained. Or it was like a room more than a table, but they like when they're constrained to a box, they'll go all the way to the edge and explore like this entire area. But when there's just a vast openness, they'll stay in the middle. And it was like it's like the way the brain functions with creativity too. When you're given a specific task and they're like, these are the parameters of the task, you can go all the way to the edge and be like much more creative than if they're just like, just make whatever you want.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you say just make whatever you want, you're like worried, like, oh, well, we should probably stay in here. Like, I don't really know what to make, all this stuff. But when you have that box, you're like, well, maybe I can stretch the box a little bit. And then you're more willing to be creative and stuff. And I feel like that kind of happened to me senior year of broadcasting, so I did not do anything productive.
That's wild.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. Wow.
Yeah, and I've been thinking about that a lot, and that's why a lot of like filmmakers and stuff will determine the genre of the whatever they're trying to write, or writers will determine the genre before they start writing. Because if you're just like, I'm gonna write a book, I don't need to know what genre. I'll decide that later. It's like, well, I gotta write this, and I don't want to like you pigeonhole yourself kind of. But if you're like, I'm gonna write a horror, then you can be like, ooh, maybe it's a horror that is a little funny. Like you can like kind of stretch the boundaries a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of interesting.
Yeah, no, I mean that is cool. I always watch. You ever watch like Vsauce back in the day?
Yeah, I have not watched that in probably 3 years, but I used to love Vsauce.
Yeah, he started doing like this like YouTube show now, so he doesn't do videos anymore really.
Mm-hmm. That's on YouTube Red, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah. So I can't like really watch much of it anymore.
Yeah.
But I would always watch that stuff, and
Excuse
honestly,
me.
like I'd just be like mind blown, like all this crazy stuff I never thought about, and then I just like reflect on it for like the next 30 minutes, be like, all right, cool, back to my
and then just
internet
immediately
browser.
forget about
like,
it until someone asks you about it. Like, yeah, you still have Vsauce?
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I always, like, something that was always daunting to me was, like, I can never make videos like that. Like, that dude's so freaking smart, and he is very smart, but he has an entire team of producers and stuff,
That's
too.
true.
Even when he was just, like, doing just YouTube videos. I mean, when he first started, it was probably just him, but, like, when he got to, like, 500,000, 1 million subscribers, he definitely had like a team of people like helping him like research and like make that show possible.
Definitely.
And like that's just something you never really think about when it's just one person is the brand, that there is more than likely, if they're popular, like a team behind them doing like a lot of the work with them.
It's not like us now. Like we've got like Ken behind the camera.
Oh yeah, I mean
Bill
everyone
back
knows
there
Ken.
on audio.
Yeah, Bill. Hey Bill, aka Dad. That's what I call him usually.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just stumbling
Back
around
when-
that boom mic. These are just props. He has just a boom mic hanging over our head right out of shot.
Yeah. Back when you started, it was just you, but now you picked up.
Exactly. Now I got a team. Like that's why I was so bad before. Like I mean, if you actually do watch the first episode of the podcast, we're in a fold out like beer pong style table. Did you ever watch that one?
I feel like I have.
Yeah, it's in another room, really shittily lit, and like you can't really see Mitchell the entire time. And so the studio is much nicer now and looks a lot nicer than the entire room that it's in. Don't touch that. Sorry.
I was
I'm just kidding.
curious,
You
you
can
know?
touch it as much. I think there's 2 batteries and some paper in there.
That's crazy.
It's more just kind of a fugazi to distract you. Like you want to know what's in there, but there's nothing in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I meant to mention to you. So, are you a fan of Chick-fil-A?
I am a fan of Chick-fil-A.
So they've got some Chick-fil-A's out in California.
I don't like it anymore. You sold me.
Yeah, and I met a lot of Canadian people that were interning there.
Is
and
this
they,
related?
Yeah, and
Okay.
they had never had Chick-fil-A before in their
Mhm.
life because
Yeah.
it doesn't exist up there. And I took them there, and they were like, dude, this is like gourmet 3-star. Like,
Yeah.
it's so good and it's so cheap. And
Yeah.
now they're just addicted to it.
And now they're like, man, I really hate gay people now too.
God,
I really
okay.
want to donate to some anti-gay charity.
Too soon.
Yeah, I can't. I do not know what the actual facts on that are, because like there was one thing that said like Chick-fil-A just ramped up all their donations to this like gay shock therapy thing, and then like one of them's like those articles are all from 10 years ago. So I don't know what the current. I don't know how much or if Chick-fil-A is still donating to those, or if it. Someone said that it was just S. Truett Cathy's son or whoever is like the CEO now recently just said, I believe marriage should be between a man and a woman. And then people started looking into all the old stuff and pulling it back up.
Mhm.
But it could still be going on. I am not up to date. I just like chicken.
Yeah, that's what I say when,
No.
when I'm like, hey, you guys want to go to Chick-fil-A? And like usually one girl would just be like, I don't really like support them. So
Mhm.
no.
Yeah, well, $5 every 2 weeks really make.
That's kind of
and
like,
I get it. Well, everybody. Well,
Yeah.
I'm not everybody. I'm me. So
I want
don't care.
some damn
I want some
chicken.
damn chicken.
and I'm going to get
I
it.
don't want to go to Zaxby's. I'm not in Zaxby's mood. For some reason, Chick-fil-A feels healthier to me too. I don't know why.
It's the peanut oil they use in the.
I don't think that makes it
It's the
healthier, but it
peanuts.
feels healthier.
Yeah.
Like I don't know why. I feel spry after I eat at Chick-fil-A. This is turning into a Chick-fil-A advertisement.
Sponsored
Chick-fil-A, if
by-
you're watching this, please sponsor. We don't care what charities you donate to.
We'll have to drop Zaxby's, but we
Yeah,
will.
We'll have to drop the Zaxby's sponsorship, but Zaxby's has probably done some bad stuff too. They're just not big enough for it to come out yet.
Most likely, definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you seen that new movie, Ad
Yeah.
Astra?
Wait.
Ad Astra with Brad Pitt. It's like
Ad Astra?
yeah.
I have not.
I see all these like commercials like 5 stars, like blah blah blah.
Have you seen Once Upon a Time in
I
Hollywood?
did.
with
I
Brad
saw
Pitt?
that when I was out there.
Yeah.
Amazing movie.
I thought I thought the movie itself was like very good. I did not. I mean, like I enjoyed it, but it wasn't my cup of tea. But it was a very, very well made movie.
I thought it was really. I went with people. We were just like laughing the whole time, especially
Yeah.
during the last.
The
part.
last part. And
So
like,
funny.
I don't know. It's just a lot of people are like jerking themselves off over Charles Manson right now. I don't know why. Not like
What's
in a
going on
sexual way,
Charles Manson.
but like, I mean, it's just like the whole Manson murders and everything. You know, that's what that movie was about, right?
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Someone told me that after the movie. I was like, oh, I
Yeah,
had
that's
no
who
idea.
Charlie was, who they kept talking about. And fun fact, Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia was actually asked to read for the part of Charlie, which would have been kind
Really?
of crazy. And apparently Charles Manson's a pretty short, crazy-looking dude, so I could definitely see Charlie Day playing a very good Charles Manson.
That'd be weird.
Yeah, it would be weird.
I can't imagine him in a role. Like
Every
that.
time I see him in other roles, I just think of
I know.
and just Charlie. And
I've never actually seen the show. I've seen like
you've never seen It's Always
30
Sunny in
clips. I've seen
Philadelphia?
like 30 clips of the show.
That's how I am with. I think I've seen one episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, but they just
Yeah,
always
yeah.
pop up on my YouTube recommendations, and so I
Yeah.
just watch clips all the time. And like, it's weird because like I put the pieces together, but whenever I try to show people clips, I'm like, oh wow, they have never seen this show. This probably does not have enough context. But I'm like, well, I've never seen the show, and it doesn't have context, but I can put it together. So that's just a weird thing.
Yeah, that's what happened with me recently. You ever seen The Big Short?
No, I've seen a lot of clips.
That's what happened to me
Yeah.
yesterday. I was watching like all the clips. I've seen like the movie now. Essentially,
I don't know what YouTube has with these like shows and movies, but are you starting to experience how hot it is in this corner?
I didn't realize that until you said
Yeah,
something.
it gets real stale. There's no air conditioning.
It's probably the lights beaming
The lights.
down
Yeah,
on
that's a
us.
grow light for plants. And yeah, but I don't know what YouTube's algorithm. You might, because you were a former Noogler. Why does it like these specific shows and movies, and why does it think that me and you need to watch them?
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. It's an addiction built in. It's like the social media addiction, you know. So my job, I'm a UX designer, and there's something where we purposely make it addicting to want to come back.
Is this true?
Yeah,
Okay.
for all social media. They perfectly like design these like notifications, the way things are laid out.
Is that how like the Twitter like is always loaded, but it sometimes will take 5 seconds to load, sometimes will take like 0.5 seconds to load, like but the content's always there, but they just like the amount of time that you have to wait for something to load is just determined on your like viewing habits.
Maybe
I feel like it probably is.
if it is, and that's insane.
Continue with your interesting thing.
That's insane if it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, and yeah, it's so evil. Like
Yeah.
they just get away with it,
So UX, what is that for in layman's terms?
So UX is basically web design. It's like, so it started out as web design way back when, kind of, and now it's evolved into UX, which encapsulates like user interface design, user research, all that cool stuff. But it's basically just like designing interfaces,
demographics and stuff, or like
What?
user research. Like
yeah,
okay.
user research is like user interviews, focus groups,
Okay.
all that stuff. But UX basically just like designing an interface and how it works and functions, like on a phone or a desktop, whatever, kiosks. But yeah, that's what I did for Gmail. And I learned a lot because honestly, I didn't really use Gmail that much beforehand. So, and I didn't use Mac either, but they put me on Mac, so that was interesting.
Yeah. So Google goes with Mac too, or was this at Google, or is this just with the other UX stuff?
Yeah, at Google. Well, the only people who have Macs at Google are the designers.
Okay. Yeah, because Macs are like video editing and design machines.
Yeah, everyone else is on like Linux or Windows. So
A lot of people use Linux.
a lot of the developers and
I
software
guess that
engineers
makes
do.
sense.
But one thing that bugs me, they all have their desktops just like the default wallpaper. I'm like, what the hell?
Make it
like,
something
yeah.
silly.
And I ask them every time. They're like, I don't know. I just never bothered to change it. They were there for like 3 months, never bothered to like change the thing.
What was your desktop background?
It's a picture I took at Twin Peaks in San Francisco of the city.
Mm-hmm.
It was really pretty. Because I just got into photography like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
been
I've
pretty
seen
fun.
your Instagram. You have some pretty sweet pictures on there.
Thanks,
I'm a
man.
big fan.
I've only got 4 on there.
I liked all 4 of them, I think. Or I scrolled past them. I don't know.
Well, I posted. It was like 2 posts, and one post had 3 images. But
Okay.
I'm afraid to dude. When I first got into Instagram, like 2012. I don't know when you got into it, but I would just literally post stupid shit. Like I'd take a picture of a water bottle and post it, and I would get like 2 likes and stuff.
Yeah.
This is when Instagram wasn't like super popular, but nowadays, like anxiety is real.
Oh yeah, you get stressed about posting.
Yeah,
pictures.
it's like I don't want to post this, and like, am I gonna like disrupt someone's feed, and they like might unfollow me and not like me anymore, stuff like
And that
that.
goes back to that like social media addiction.
Yeah.
Like,
And so nowadays, like I hardly post anything because it has to be like worthwhile, and I've thought about this a lot. Like I should just like either not give a shit anymore, or B, just like give a shit.
yeah.
So
I don't post on Instagram very often at all. And I get a fair amount of likes. Like I think I had 668 or 658 followers
Wow.
in May, and that was like the highest I've ever had. And then I just didn't post anything until I think 2 days ago, and I lost like 12 followers or something like that.
damn.
I don't know. It's just like I guess people go through and like just like oh, this guy doesn't post anything, but like Instagram not as much, just because like I don't really have a goal with Instagram. I've never wanted to be like, never wanted to be like an Instagram influencer or anything.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like I post dumb shit. Like I definitely still pay attention to likes. Like I know which one is my most liked picture. I know which one's my least liked.
Really?
Yeah. Well, not my least liked, just because older ones definitely have less because it was older.
Yeah.
But I know which one's my most liked, and it's like the ones that I have with Maggie in them get way more likes than ones with just
Is
me.
that your girl?
Yeah. Like it's like that's just like social media algorithm right there. Like girls get way more clicks than just guys.
Well, there's also a thing where if you use one of their filters, it's more likely to stay at like the top of feeds or like
Really?
show on hashtags more. Yeah. So
Like an Instagram filter.
yeah, and so like what people will do, they'll put a filter on and turn it like to 1%. So there's no
Oh.
actual filter on it.
Wow.
Yeah, but they get the benefits from it.
Wow. That's
know.
crazy. I didn't even like. That's like tags and keywords and stuff. Like I've been trying to I've been studying and stuff tags, at least for my YouTube videos, because it's crazy how much that actually affects it. And I there's a podcast where I talk about like when I just discovered that, which was this summer. Like if you go back and look at the old tags on my videos, most of them are just like stupid shit like Dick Cheney or like quality content but now it's like comedy, YouTube comedy, like all funny
Yeah.
videos, trending funny, like all that stuff like that.
You want to know something wild?
Yes.
So I was on Reddit like probably 2-3. Well, I'm on it every day, but like 2-3
Yeah.
days ago, and I was going through videos because I go through Reddit a lot, and I saw this video, and it had like 1,000 upvotes or something, and I clicked it. And I was like, damn, that was really funny, and I realized it was your video.
Oh yeah.
Like a day later, somehow I was scrolling through your YouTube channel. I saw this video, and I was like, Wait a sec. I saw that video. It was the lawnmower one.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that's the one that's gotten the most views for me so far. And like,
it's fun. It was
yeah,
hilarious.
yeah, I had that idea, and I was like, all right, yeah.
How'd you
And
do that? Like,
what do you mean?
was it at night or in the morning?
That was at night. Like it was actually on whenever it was posted. It was the day before. It was like right around 9 o'clock. I changed the time in my phone, like date and time, to like 5:43, and then set an alarm for 5:45. Shot that, then shot me doing the belt, me pulling up socks, and then I went outside, revving up the thing. It took me way too long to rev the lawnmower. Like it took me probably 30 pulls.
Damn.
Like
Wait,
I
what?
probably flooded the engine.
Oh my
It was bad. I
God.
was sweaty. And then yeah, just like recorded some like Foley of me just driving a lawnmower around just so it sounded good. And then like the whole process probably took 30 minutes. Like 'cause I just like my thing is
It's not bad actually.
if I get an idea that I'm like all right, this is it. I can usually knock it out within 1 hour. Like just like shoot, like kind of write, shoot, edit. Like because I get very tunnel vision when I get a good idea. Like
yeah.
today I shot a few videos, and one of them I really like, and that's probably the one I'll post tomorrow. But that's another thing, going back to the anxiety. Like I don't get anxiety about Instagram, but like YouTube, every time I post a video, I'm like, that's shitty. Everyone's gonna hate it. Like every single time, like regardless. Like that one, I was like, oh god. And then like I use like I'll post them to Reddit sometimes. I'll ask Tommy to post them, or like other people, just because Reddit is like the 5th largest search engine in the United States. So like
It's crazy.
I don't know if it's considered a search engine, but 5th largest, like 5th most trafficked website in the United States. And so I just use that for a lot of advertisement. I've been trying to like I don't know how to use Twitter and Instagram. Like I've never used Twitter, so I just never really use Instagram. And Instagram I don't like posting my videos to, because I just feel like I'm interrupting people's timelines
Yeah.
and stuff. It's like people don't want to watch this. I just feel like trash.
Exactly.
Like I just like it's like, oh, this is a video. They could like there's people like Trevor Wallace. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He has like 900,000 followers on Instagram, like 750,000 on YouTube. And like his videos are on YouTube, but then he also posts them to Instagram with like the white box where it says like every
yeah.
something be like.
Yeah.
And like his are funny and stuff, and he has a huge following, but I don't, and I have like 600 followers who are mostly people I know, and I'm like, they don't want to see that, and that's like just my shitty videos, like, and so I just usually I try not to post on Instagram, but I like posting on YouTube. But I was talking to Maggie about this. I was like, I just wish that all my subscribers on YouTube were people that I don't know, because I really hate it. And I don't hate it. I really enjoy it when people are like, oh, I liked your video, but I have no idea how to respond to that. Like, praise, I am so bad with. People are like, oh, that was really funny. I'm like,
Definitely.
Thanks. I made it. And like, I don't know. Like, if you ever are giving me a compliment, which for the people who have, thank you very much. But if you're ever giving me a compliment and I seem unamused or just don't say something weird, that's not you. I really appreciate it. I'm just stupid. Had to get that out there because I think about that a lot.
I feel that though. Like saying, even with like gifts too, sometimes
Yeah.
it's so hard to say like, oh, thank you so much. Like, blah, blah. Like, it's easy right now. But like, if
Mhm.
I'm saying it to like my parents, sometimes it's kind of hard. I know that sounds really shitty. But,
Yeah. I mean, I know what you mean, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, so your videos, they remind me, I told you this, they remind me of like Gus Johnson.
Yeah.
I watched one of his videos today. I was like, damn, that's like Tony humor. So
Yeah. I really like Gus Johnson. Like, this is kind of funny. People, I don't know if you've ever been on the news section of Reddit, but if you go to the news section and like videos that, like any subreddit that has like 1 or 2 upvotes and has a comment, I can almost guarantee you it's going to be a very angry comment about how much they hate it. And when I uploaded that first frisbee golf video, the disc golf video, this one person was like, wow, another Gus Johnson, great. And people were like, yeah, I even ripped off the editing style and shit. So like people were like ripping me, because like I guess
Wow.
like defending Gus Johnson. I'm like, yeah, I like Gus Johnson. Like people have influences. Like I definitely like his comedy, and I'm gonna try to emulate it a little bit in my own way, throw
That's-
my own twist on
that's
it.
what everyone does.
Yeah, there's no such thing as an original idea.
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, like at least half of his videos, The Simpsons probably did it first, even if he didn't know it. Like I made a video, that fly one, where I just like pretending I'm a fly in a house. Someone was like, "Oh, looks like he saw Sven Johnson's video," which I guess it turns out is Gus Johnson's little brother, who I've been ripping off this whole time too. But I clicked on the link. I was like, "Holy shit, this is almost the same video," and I've never seen it before. Like sometimes that just happens, like parallel thinking, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
If something's funny and you've never seen it, and you think of it, and you make it, and someone else did, then you get called. People say you like ripped them off or plagiarized them, even if you've never seen it, and you just gotta roll with the punches.
It'd be
I
like
guess.
that,
Yeah.
honestly.
I have a fun segment for us to do, which I'm gonna try to get into the podcast more. Here are 2 Mexican candies for us to try
All
and
right.
to review. They're called Pica Gomas. They were given to me by my Mexican friend Maria after I unloaded flooring at her house earlier today, and I wanted you to have one while I had one.
Nice.
And she specifically said, record your friends eating them. So I don't know what that
Is
means.
this supposed to be
Or
spicy?
some kind of
or
fetish. I don't know. But if I
ASMR
can-
next to the microphone?
yeah, if I can get this open with my sweaty fingers.
Honestly.
Okay, I used my nails. I got it.
Almost got it.
I hope this is giving someone some brain gasms right now.
Dude, it's like melted.
Is it? A little bit. All right. Yeah.
All right, ready?
1, 2, 3. It's salty. It tastes like meat.
I don't know what the hell this tastes like.
Oh, it tastes like you put like fajita seasoning on a candy or something. Oh.
Dude, what?
I tried to do some ASMR, but gagged. Oh, it's spicy, but like really salty.
Who? What? Who eats it?
Mexican people, apparently.
I'm sure that's what like other people say about like American candy. It's
I
like
guarantee no one says this about Snickers bars.
sour stuff though. Like I can imagine
Yeah.
maybe like someone in like China being like, "Who would eat this super
Mhm.
sugary?" Like
The second half isn't as bad.
definitely would not eat
Like, it's
again.
kind of just, I was stuck in my teeth. Like kind of a sweet candy at the end, but like the first centimeter thick layer is like meat juice, like broth
Meat
and
juice?
like spices. So out of 7, how would you rank that candy?
Probably like a 2.
2 out of 7?
2 or 3.
What-
Wait, 7.
out of 7.
Why 7?
And that's just always been the Zesty Boys review
A 2.
scale.
A 2. I'd say 2.
What are the redeeming factors?
The redeeming factors was it had a little bit of chewiness,
Mm-hmm.
and I sometimes like chewy.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's like a chewy, like there's like chewy things where like your teeth go straight through them, and there's chewy things where it's kind of like you have to like break it down a little bit, and that was like a break it down a little bit one.
I don't know, honestly, for me, okay, yeah, I can agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, it had no other redeeming
I'd
qualities.
probably give it a 2 also. We'll probably eat again because I want other people to eat it, and they're gonna be like, "Well, you eat one too." And I'm like, "Okay." I do that a lot.
Yeah, give one to Mitchell. I want to see what he thinks.
Yeah. Mitchell's not gonna watch this. Fuck you, Mitchell. Just say whatever you want about Mitchell. This is a safe
I
space.
hate Mitchell Gunn.
Yes, I hate Mitchell Gunn. I'm trying to start something, but it didn't
He
happen.
played guitar one time. I was at his house.
Yeah, he does that.
He was-
Anytime there's a guitar, he'll play it.
Well, Chris, his brother was playing guitar.
His brother's pretty good.
Yeah, and Mitchell was playing guitar. It's actually pretty good. And I was
Yeah.
just sitting there.
Mitchell has gotten pretty good at guitar.
Honestly, I was just thinking in that moment, like, what am I doing with my life?
You
I
could've-
didn't know
you
what I
could've
was
learned
doing.
an instrument. Well, you learned
I
UX.
tried. I was in band in high school for middle school and then 2 years in high school.
What'd you play?
I was in percussion, so I played
Toms,
I played
snare,
like xylophone and
oh.
all that stuff. But I know the notes on piano,
Mhm.
but I can't play piano.
Yeah, because you don't have
'cause
the muscle
I
memory.
don't have the dexterity and
Yeah.
stuff. But
Yeah, you put all your stats into strength, none
yeah,
into dex.
yeah. Speaking of which, you've been playing any D&D?
I have not. We've been talking about getting a session going, like 3 weeks ago. We're like, all right, this Thursday we're gonna start, and then we just never have. I'd really like to, because it's a fun game, but
Yeah,
not being able to get into it.
It's definitely fun. I recommend.
We'll start I've played like a ton. You can see all my stack of D&D shit over there, and that's just my personal like dice and notebooks and stuff.
Nice.
Because we usually play on this table where the camera's that's behind the camera, but no one is in town because they're all at school.
Behind Bill
And
Gotcha.
Kenneth.
No, you're fine.
Ken, don't do that. But I'd say this is about wraps it up for this episode of the Zesty Podcast. Thank you for joining me, Josh Lucas.
Yeah, definitely. It was a time.
It's been a pleasure. For those of you listening, you can subscribe to us on YouTube at youtube.com/ZestyBoys. Follow the Instagram page at Zesty_podcast. Follow Josh at whatever his thing is. What's it called?
I actually don't have anything.
You don't have any? You have an
You
Instagram?
can send me fan mail.
What's your P.O. box?
Damn, I should probably get one of those.
We'll make a joint P.O. box, and then you can send us all sorts of letters. Don't forget to send your questions into the Zesty Podcast. We'll answer them live on the show.
Or call us.
Or call us during the show. We'll probably answer. We have no professionalism here.
Yeah.
And for the Zesty Podcast, my name is Tony.
And my name is Josh.
And thanks for listening.